11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I've got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our daily gun show. We come to you live every day at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's 4 Pacific for about an hour and 90 minutes each day. We cover 3 gun-related topics each day, different topics throughout the week. We run it live on YouTube, and we simulcast it over at gunchannels.com. We're watching the live comments over on Gun Channel, so everybody that's watching us live and participating in the text chat there, also over on Gun Channel or over on YouTube. When it's all over, we'll let it render into a video, and we'll take the audio from that and post it up as a podcast on iTunes. So we encourage anybody who might be listening to the show now or in the future, leave us some feedback out there. Let us know where you are. And by leaving comments and subscribing to our channel and things like that, participating in those platforms, you're helping the show get recommended to more listeners. And we do appreciate that. That's really part of the goal. So we have hosts. 3 of us are here today. Dan was jumping in from Illinois. Thanks for joining.
Glad to be here.
We got Z jumping in from the island of Maui.
Yo, yo, yo.
Is it just one island, or can you say islands of Maui? There's not like...
You could say the islands of Maui County, but no, there's only one Maui.
So every time there's another island, they'd give it another name all the time. It's not like there are other states where they'd be like South.
Maui County has several islands in the county itself.
Okay. And then I'm over here in Arizona. We don't know where Smeggy is. No idea where Bob is. So, yeah, we're just the core 3. The stable 3, the dependable 3. The 3 that you come to.
Can't tell if we're the 3 Musketeers or the 3 Stooges. Only the show will tell.
Muska Stooges. That's what we are. All right, so let's dig in. We've got a couple of different topics for show 254. There's a couple of different things that happened today in history, or I guess a couple of different things that have to do with today. We'll be talking about gun stuff and training, and today's Thursday, so we're talking about shooting events that are coming up. But before we dig into the show, we always like to take a moment at the beginning to see if anything happened overnight, anything worth talking about.
Matt had an incendiary portion of his chat yesterday.
Yeah, everything got crazy last night. It was definitely a weird night.
So anybody listening should potentially go back after you're done listening to this show and go listen to Matt's chat last night, because it was eye-opening.
I don't even know. I would listen to Andalusia Armory on Tuesday. Speaking of that, I talked to those guys. Well, I talked to Sean yesterday in the evening, and if it's okay with you two, we're going to have them on Tuesday. So either before their show or after. I asked them if there was another day they could do it, so we weren't, interfering with their scheduling. But that's the Monday that they are able to do their show, because that's the day they're able to get together. So since
Sounds awesome.
Their show starts kind of right in the middle of ours, I think, or at the same time, and then ends before ours. I told them they're welcome to jump in either in the beginning or the end, whichever's better for them. And then they can just join us as a couple of them, and then we can introduce them to our audience, and then I kind of apologize on air for stepping on their time slot. And just let everybody know that we're not, in competition or nothing. It's just a thing that happened in scheduling.
Yeah, I kind of look at apologies as once I say, I'm doing something and I didn't mean to step on your toes. It's something I don't need to, repeat over and over and over.
Well, that's because you're inconsiderate.
Yeah, some of us are more courteous than that, I guess, but that's okay. That's why there's 3 of us here. So we don't have
to make up for those shortcomings of 1 or 2 of us.
We all cover the strengths and weaknesses of each other, I guess.
Yep. It's a team right there, fellas. A team.
Since the beginning, that there can be multiple shows on, even at the same time, long before there ever was.
And we would like to apologize to our listening audience right now for Dano beating a dead horse.
Dano might say things that are mean.
Speaking of beating a dead horse, I want to apologize.
There you go.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, let's get into this show already. This is episode 254. We're going to be talking about gun stuff. So, Saturday Night
254 Kasul? Is it the 254 Kasul episode?
Is it a 254?
I don't know. I'm making shit up.
254 Kasul.
No, I don't think. Is it?
454, not 254.
454
Yeah,
Kasul.
see, there you go.
Yeah.
254 is what I paid for bacon and eggs this morning. No, just kidding.
What? Were you paying
No.
that kind of money for a breakfast on an island? That's crazy.
Oh, dude, actually, that what I just called out would be about $6.
Yeah. I can't even.
$2. Maybe at like a special at a little mom and pop breakfast shop for like an hour during the morning or something.
Yeah. I'd pay at least $5+ to get that lunch where I live.
Pretty much.
Breakfast.
So,
We're talking
gun stuff, huh?
Saturday Night Specials. We just talked about what happened there. I did. So we just talked about this the other day, or I guess we've been talking about them all last week. So it seems like we've been talking about them just the other day. So I don't know.
We were talking about Ring of Fire. Saturday Night Specials technically predate Ring of Fire.
Yeah, but look what it says there. Saturday Night Specials, little minus sign, Ring of Fire. So specifically Ring of Fire. So I don't know what we were thinking when we scheduled this. Probably that's one of the dangers of scheduling a month out is we don't really necessarily realize when there's a lot of subjects on the schedule, maybe we might not realize when we're dropping something down, a week later that we're putting it down right next to the same topic. So maybe we could talk about Saturday Night Specials specifically.
We more liberally than we should.
I should be saying Dano, I know, but I didn't want to call you out.
Yeah, we didn't want to cast aspersions.
Well, that's okay. I got no shame. Lay it on.
Clearly.
You should be doing it with Maggie or Bob because they're really the ones in here.
So now, really, G, what is it? It's the Saturday Night Specials, and there was a different phrase for that I'm not going to say. So basically, because of the 1968 crime omnibus, right? That is what limited then the import of Saturday Night Specials from foreign countries and things like that. Now, is that also in that crime omnibus in 68? Was that also which then defined what they needed to be made out of or couldn't be made out of, I should say?
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, the 68 Gun Control Act made it so that you couldn't import guns. And there was this, in order to import guns, they had to go through this checklist. So there would be things on the checklist would have different weight or like different amount of points. And the materials that were made out of was one. The caliber was one. The length of the barrel was probably another one. So basically, in order to get rid of or make it less favorable or less profitable to import a small gun, they would make small size worth very little points. They would make the inexpensive metals that are easy to work with, and they would make that and have a low melting point. They would make that very little points. They would put a long barrel and a higher caliber, higher points, so that by having a higher caliber, you could almost just import it right there. By having a higher caliber made out of steel, done. That can be an importable gun. So it was basically a set of criteria that made it basically impossible to import these firearms. Now it's interesting when we talk about that, if we fast forward to the 80s when they're trying to import the Glock, that's why the Glocks have to be imported with adjustable sights, because this criteria, this checklist still exists, and because the polymer isn't steel, it basically falls under the same kind of infringements that the Saturday Night Special guns did. So it has to be imported with night sights and stuff, or adjustable sights, in order to gain enough points to be imported at like the various calibers. And the 380 was never imported because of that. That's the reason they never imported a 380. It's not like they didn't want to sell them here. It's just that the small caliber weighted the points to where they couldn't do anything else to the gun to bring it in. So anyway, so that's where
So I have a question.
Stopped those guns from being imported for a minute.
I have a question, and this is just as an example. The Beretta makes little tiny, same size gun when we think of Saturday Night Specials, but yet still made, been made for a while and still allowed in this country. Was it the type of metal that got it enough points to where it was able to come in? Because when I think of size and caliber, it fits right in line with those other guns, except for possibly the type of metal.
Thought a Minx was made out of steel.
Well, that again, it's the type of metal.
Well, that right there is one of the things with the points.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm asking. Is that the main difference? I mean, granted, none of us are experts, but clearly we all know that the Beretta Minx is made out of metal and not plastic or pot metal. It's a higher grade of steel.
What's your screen sharing there, G-Webs?
Here's the actual form. So you have things like overall length. For each quarter inch over 6 inches, you get a point. So under 6 inches, basically what they're saying, you don't get any points. So for every quarter inch you start getting over 6 inch of length, you start getting points. Frame construction, investment, cast or forged, you got 15 points right there. You get a forged alloy, you get 20 points. So if you're not using investment casting or forged, then you got no points, right? Let's see, somewhere in here it'll tell us qualifying score is 75 points. So they're giving you 15 or 20 for the type of material it's made out of. If it's not one of these two types of material, plastic, Zamic, good luck. You don't get 20 or 15 points there. The weapon weight with the magazine per ounce. So the more ounces, the more points you get. So your CZs, your, the guns are huge. They come in just from being huge. So you get your 25 and your 22, 0 points. 22 long rifle. See that discrimination between short and long rifle right there? 22
Yep.
Long rifle and 380, 3 points. So very few points. 9mm. Look at this bias. They even capitalize the P in 9mm. And then they give you 10 points because that's how this is a European skewed system.
Yep. Well, actually, but to be honest, though, G-Webs, it actually was set up that way to be a not necessarily Europe, but non-American bias, or unbiased.
Where else are you going to import stuff from? We can't import stuff from China.
That's not true, because you look at the other side of the form where it starts talking about 38 Special and 357 Magnum. That's traditional American.
This is a different thing. Oh, this is for pistol. This is for revolver. That's what it is. So the revolver is a little different. That's all. So again, 22 short. Nope, you're out of there. You don't even get a point. 22 long rifle, 38. You get a point, 3 points. But then you get it into real calibers and you start getting more points. And again, the material it's made out of is a majority of your points right there. But they have to get a 75 over here. That's 20 of them right there. So if you don't have 20, you could have every other thing on this list
and not get it, right?
Yeah, exactly. So they definitely did this with the math. They used the math against us.
That's the thing about math; it always adds up.
Well, let me ask you. This is more of an opinion question, especially on the type of metal. Does using the higher quality steels and alloys, generally speaking, safer than using some of the pot metal type materials for the general public?
Well, it's going to have a different hardness. It's going to have a different tensile strength. It's going to be a different heat allowance. So usually the better metal, that's, the better and safer it is for you.
Okay,
well,
G-Webs.
I think they're certainly going to try and pretend like, you have to use a certain type, otherwise it's, safer, because they're trying to get you to not do cheap stuff. And guys, sorry I missed the start here, but
but actually, they have actually had some of those cheaper guns before they made that law. They've actually had some of those guns either blow up or break or stuff like that. We're talking about Saturday Night Specials and stuff. And
right,
then
yeah, I was assuming this is a test for they're trying to discriminate against a certain type of thing, mainly being cheap guns. But let's say you make a gun out of I don't know, whatever that's not on that list, or you don't get as many points, but you just make it thick as can be. Well, then it's going to hold up just as well as something else.
But if it doesn't make the 75 points off the list, it doesn't get allowed to be imported at all.
If it's 75 ounces, you'll get a point per ounce.
Oh, that's
well, exactly, right. And you're exactly right. They did that on purpose because something that's small is not going to weigh that much. something that's, a cheaper material is not going to get as many points and maybe not weigh as much.
So my question to the panel is using higher grade steel or alloys a safer gun than necessarily the pot metal type guns that were produced, back in the 60s?
And I gave my answer, I know.
Right. I didn't hear from the other guys.
No. And they weren't made back in the 60s. They're made today. They're still made. So, no. I would suggest that you've got anti-gunners who hate guns, and they would jump at any opportunity to discount any type of gun. You've got manufacturers of fancy guns that use fancy metals, and you would think they might jump at any opportunity to suggest the superiority of over their competitors if there was this actual problem. I think there's definitely a perceived problem, and yes, guns will break, but we're talking about guns that are 25 ACP and 22. And when they break, it's like a lug falls off. They don't catastrophically explode in people's hands on a daily basis. I mean, sure, there are times when people run machines past their useful life, or they abuse them, or they don't pay attention to cracks and stress issues, and the gun will break. But again, if there was catastrophic failures all the time, number one, the manufacturers would be getting sued crazy, and I don't see that happening. And I think, again, that there'd be people that would want to capitalize on that if it was statistically more likely to happen with any type or brand or anything. So I would suggest that it's probably the same ratio of accidents as with most any other guns. Maybe a little higher because the materials are cheaper, but I don't think it's unsafe. They make them in California, for crying out loud.
And that was kind of my answer with just because it's made out of a different material. If you make that a softer metal thicker, it can hold up the same amount as, like a stronger metal.
To a point, yes, but not indefinitely.
Well, again, we're talking about a 22 long rifle or a 25. Not huge.
I was just talking to Smeggy's point.
And they make high.
Wait, let's not pretend like Saturday Night Specials weren't 38s or anything like that, though, either, bro. Come on.
For sure. And there's the high points, which are 45 ACP and,
right,
and everything else. So you just put enough metal.
Even the beloved 40.
Fine. Yeah, they can even make 40. They can even harness the power of 40 into Zamek, I guess.
And that's why the high point slide is a giant brick. They do that on purpose because they have to.
Makes the Glock.
So that's really interesting there, G-Webs. Is that form available somewhere? I'd like to look at that more. I see you're screen sharing it from somewhere, but
yeah, you paid for it. It's at the ATF, so there's the link. So you can just get that form anytime. It's a handgun importation criteria. So I type into Google and it brings up their PDF from the ATF. Otherwise,
I wonder if you could import a gun with like a big chunk of something that made it weigh a bunch, and they're like, you import it, and it's like, oh, 75 ounces or 60 ounces, and then you get a couple of the other points, and then it doesn't need it for the gun to work, so then like the user just throws that chunk away.
Yeah, like a base plate in a magazine made out of steel.
There you go. Interesting. Make the grips, the grip panels out of like lead.
Yep.
And then include like regular grip panels in the box or something.
Exactly. Like also you could buy your own grip panels because there's no 922R for pistols. So yeah, weird. So yeah, that's how one of the ways they got around it. They just started shipping over all the parts and assembling them in Florida. So it worked for about 15 minutes that they accomplished what they wanted. They're like, oh, we can't assemble them in Germany anymore. All right, we'll just send all the parts to Florida and assemble them there and sell them just like normal, which they did. And
that was Rome, ROHM, correct? No?
Yeah, I wish I had more time to research all that, but it's Rome RG10 and all those. Whatever the company changed whenever it started being made in Florida. So they were one thing in Germany and then they were the other thing in Florida. There's a lot of those, and while I have a few of them, I haven't had a chance to. I never really got into collected them or researched them, but there are people that research those. If you want to check out more about these, there's a forum for people that like junk guns and Zamek guns. I forget the name
I
of
want
it.
to know what that 25 was that was in your Instagram photo in the reloading one.
It wasn't.
What Saturday night special was that?
Caliber, assuming it wasn't. It was just a blank.
Wasn't that 25? Come on. Really?
Starter. Come on. You've never seen a catalog from 1980s? That's a starter gun.
Dude, it was 2/3 of the way underneath something. I could just barely caught it.
I could tell from a mile away that was from the old.
Cause you bought it and it's yours, and you're also the one that put it there.
Anyhow, it's
anyway.
It's just a blank firing starter pistol. So that's Saturday Night Specials, and I was going to say the other thing that they, well, I don't know how much we want to talk about it. We can probably jump into the next subject at this point and touch it again if we need to at a later point. It is a big subject and lots of different ways to look at it or approach it. So if anybody has any suggestions on that, we're always open to those. We have a planning session on the second Saturday of every month for our Patreon supporters and anybody that's interested in watching. We get together and schedule out the month ahead of time, the show schedule for a month out, and anybody's able to participate in that show when it's live. Or if you'd like to participate and are not able to show up live, you can always email us, and our email is dailygunshow@gmail.com with any kind of show suggestions or topic ideas. If you've got pictures or something that you'd like to share, if you've posted something on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or something, send us links, and we're happy to spread the word. With that, I think we just jump into training, unless you guys want to touch on something else, Saturday Night Specials.
No, I'm sure we'll come back to it again.
Yep. All right, so we're going to head into training. Before we do that, between the first and second segment of the show each day, we like to take a break and feature one of the members over at Gun Channels. Gun Channels, as we mentioned, is a community focused on firearms. We built it, so it's built by shooters, for shooters. It's completely membership driven, and with that in mind, we like to feature members over there each day. Today, or this week, we're featuring members that do live shows in the evenings. We call them primetime shows, and Yankee Marshal is our person we're featuring today. So Yankee's been around since the beginning. He's definitely an interesting character, and I don't think anybody can deny an advocate for the second. He does it in a unique way, and he has a unique audience, a very large, unique audience that I don't think anybody else could probably reach the same way Yankee reaches them. So although I don't think I built it necessarily for Yankee, it has definitely, Gun Channels has become a platform that Yankee enjoys, and he helps promote it a lot. So for a lot of reasons, a lot of our success is attributable to Yankee. I know a lot of people have discovered us through Yankee's encouragement, and again, he has a pretty big reach. Hopefully he's an inspiration for people that are considering creating their own content, because I can tell you from knowing Yankee for years now, he is just a regular guy. What you see on the screen is what Yankee is, and he enjoys sharing his interest in firearms, his hobby, his passion, and he's had very good success with his ability to share that stuff in an interesting way and in a regular way. I think that's a big part of Yankee's success, is that he's putting out videos pretty much daily for years now, and that, you know, people appreciate that, and he puts enough production value into it, and he has enough, I don't know, a finger on the pulse of what people are talking about, that he draws a large audience. So hopefully, again, that we're not just shouting out somebody who's a friend of ours, but we're also giving people some ideas for, like I say, inspiration or encouragement to get out and do this stuff yourself. You do not have to be a production studio. You don't have to be have gone to school for any of this stuff. You can just participate and share and potentially succeed. I'm gonna go get my dog.
Well, and that's one thing about Yankee that I think is worth noting. At most people, if they know him, they'll figure this out pretty quickly, is that he is definitely more liberal in his political leanings and whatnot, but he likes guns. And so I think that's important to remember, that it's not like us versus them, like Republicans versus Democrats, blah, 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 whatever. It's gun people versus, anti-gun people, which is still political politics. But, it's a good reminder that there's a lot of different people that like guns. And I would love it to be when, elections come around, it's not, I have to choose between Republicans and Democrats on guns. It's, well, they both like guns. I'll choose between them based on their other stuff.
What I'm afraid of is when it's the other way, when they both hate guns. But Yankee, yeah, definitely been, I think first found Yankee on YouTube researching revolver videos. And it's definitely been years and years and years now. And you're right. He does have a special brand of humor that he likes to put into his videos and whatnot. And he usually defends his points vigorously.
Right or wrong.
As shown by Matt's chat last night.
Yeah, which he was right last night, but that's beside the point.
And I have no comment.
And I only said that because G-Webs isn't here.
So I'm assuming he's still getting his dog.
I'm sure.
Unless you guys have anything else on Yankee.
No.
Oh, he's back.
That's plenty.
Okay.
So now we'll dig into training. So how to find a good instructor.
Is this a real question?
Trick question.
I think so.
Well,
Trick question. So how do you find a good instructor?
I can share my own personal experience as far as I guess it was the second class I took. First class I ever took was NRA introduction up to handguns or something like that, and which is really just a classroom sit down basic education. I took that a number of years ago. Second class I took was a local place. They had a website, and I read through what was involved on the website. Sounded like certainly like what I was looking for. In the class, the entry-level class was called Combat Pistol 1, because what I was looking for was somebody to teach me just the entry-level basics of shooting and then shooting on the move, you know, to get to cover, to get to concealment, that sort of thing. It was not a national instructor at all. He didn't have any reviews up there. As far as from previous people that have taken his class. I didn't know anyone that had taken his class. And although gun channels, I think it probably just come up right around that time, or maybe it was just before gun channels. And so since he was local, there was no point in me asking a national audience if somebody had heard of a local guy. Went and took this Combat Pistol 1. And I had mentioned these things about what I was able to find out and what I was not able to find out, like reviews, because it ended up that, yeah, he was knowledgeable in all those areas, but he was a terrible instructor. And the reason I say this is because although no one person's opinion should either sell you on an instructor or dissuade you from going to an instructor, the average of many opinions is what you should be looking for, or one of the things you're looking for, in addition to what the description of the class covers, is that somebody's ability to do it is different than somebody's ability to teach it. And that's the problem that I ran into with my instructor. As well as personally, he wasn't that nice of a guy. And what I mean by that is when students would walk away in front of other students, he would say negative comments about students that were right there. So it was very unprofessional. And he was good at doing it, just not so great at teaching it. So I like to, unfortunately, sometimes we have to learn from our mistakes. And, what I learned was that, I really need to reach out and find people that have taken the class before, if at all possible, to try to get their opinions on not only does he know what he's teaching, is he a good teacher, period. Because there's a lot, I don't want to make this too long, but
well, there's also
the kind of
responsibility to be a good learner as well, yes?
I'm sorry, say again?
There is also the responsibility of the student to be a good learner, yes?
Well, of course. That applies to any class. But you should never have you should never hopefully experience somebody who's unprofessional in the classroom or out on the range. And unfortunately, that's the type of instructor that I had for that class. Whether you're working in a factory as a supervisor or you're out as an instructor, you don't throw insults to other employees or other students who are in the class in front of other students. That's extremely unprofessional. But
so I like looking at after action stuff now that there's a lot more videos and instructors are familiar with what what videos can do for them. They're less apprehensive about letting people film. People are getting better at filming. Even just whatever you want to call, like amateur people that are just sharing their experiences with the internet. Are getting better and better with their skills and with their equipment. So you're getting better examples or better insight to what's going on in those courses. And usually when those are posted, you have the opportunity to see comments or replies from other students or other alumni. And I think you can get a lot from that. Obviously, it's a little slanted because usually it's, definitely it's more positive than negative.
Would you trust a forum in that same respect then, potentially?
Well, again, I just got to put it with a grain of salt because most of the people that are going to chime in are either just
They're either going to try and bury it or try and praise it, right? There's almost no middle. Yeah,
they're either against everything, so they're against it, or they're, they just paid for it, so they're super happy about it. And that's the other thing you got to remember, that anybody who just paid for something and experienced it, it's probably just having the, the enthusiasm of the rush of just doing it. So, but anyway, you can get an idea from some of the reviews or some of the insight from some of the students. If you get a review from a student who's never been to a class before, that's useful. But it's also different to get a review from a student who's been to a lot of classes. And like I say, that's what you can find on a forum. So they're worth checking out, just with a grain of salt.
Yeah. And I think G-Web's really kind of summarize or explain what I was trying to get to as far as the conclusion of what I learned from that one experience.
Well, and we also have a resource here. I'd have to say there's been more than a couple of times that whether I've asked questions or whatnot, or listened in on other people talking when they're chatting and whatnot, about experiences that they've had. Because if you actually did the sum total of all Gun Channel's members that have been through these chats, more than two have been to different instructors. And I mean, that's where I found out about either Hackathon or Paul or Howe or Panone or, let alone Clint Smith and stuff like that. So sometimes personal referrals, granted though, you got to kind of take those with a grain of salt potentially too, because that was just how that person experienced it. But like someone like Dr. No and DB and stuff like that, and UG Web, some people that have taken many classes, or if not many, more than a few classes, I should say, more than a handful now, I was thinking like DB or whatever, that, for example, if we're talking about a good instructor, in my opinion, Mr. Yeager is going to be counted as a good instructor, but in some other people's opinions, whether on the internet or what have you, and whether they're mistaken or not, that's up to them. They may not agree with me that he is a good instructor. So,
and that's where it comes into play, that you never take one opinion as rock solid. Okay, that's it. Whether it's a complimentary one or one that dishes the whole program, is you try to look for where are most people rating this class, not where any individual rating is.
You can look at who's the person reviewing it too. You get something from somebody who's been to 6 or 8 classes, and they're going to give you a review. If they've been to 6 or 8 fighting pistol type of classes or something, then that's different than somebody who's been to 6 or 8 how to shoot 3-gun competition, or how to.
Or they took a rifle class, they took a shotgun class, they took a pistol class, they took a revolver class, they took a force-on-force, like if somebody that's taken like the gamut, right? You're saying if one basically has the fighting pistols from 6 different instructors or whatever, that person might have a different opinion of one person's class if they are reviewing the fighting pistol than somebody that did several different disciplines and then reviewed the same class, correct?
Yeah, exactly. They're coming at it from different experiences. So you've also got people that are just better at it or not. So anything, I go out and I'm learning some new software. So I found some people on YouTube that do instructional videos for that software. and it's excellent. So even though they answered I found the answer to the question I had, I'll sit there and watch more of their videos to discover questions I didn't know I had yet, and to just learn more. So you'll find the same with people that review classes. You find it with anything out there, but when you find somebody who does have an interesting review of a class for you, I'd suggest that's a resource. Look at their other videos, even if they've only talked about the classes. A lot of times, people that are interested in this stuff will pay attention enough and have some insight. So it's you can gain info from what would you call that, like a non-biased third party. If someone's just knowledgeable and offering insight, and they haven't taken the class, so they're not alumni, and they're not biased in one way or another, you might get another perspective on a class that way. But again, I think we're putting a lot of thought into it. I mean, what Dano's talked about is a frustrating experience, but that's only when you're dealing with the ones that don't, with any instructor that doesn't have, or like a school that doesn't have a lot of feedback yet. I think when we're talking about how to find an instructor, we're talking go to the other end, go to this places where you find reviews, and start your exploration of classes with those instructors or those schools that already have a lot of established.
Now, I do have another experience to share with you on a class I took after that. And this one, I got actually input from not on that particular instructor's website, but from people I know through gun channels who've actually taken the class. And I like the idea of what I'll call a user review that's not on that instructor's website, because then it hasn't been filtered through, so to speak. That it's more genuine. The person has absolutely nothing to gain or lose from what they're about to say. And in this case, it happened to be Masad Ayub's class, the MOS 20 classroom class last year that I took. Outstanding class, was everything that I could have hoped for, and was certainly everything that the people that had taken the class previously had certainly described. It just, sometimes it's difficult to describe it. The one analogy that sticks out more than anything, and that's kind of a unique class by itself, is it's like trying to drink information out of a fire hose. And I heard that from G-Webs, and that was absolutely true, as far as an analogy to describe going into that sort of learning environment. And that was a great experience, but I got reviews from people that had nothing invested in me going or not going. So I would weight those sorts of inputs as much more valuable than some nameless, faceless dude that just typed that out on the internet, in which his review may or may not have been filtered.
Well, in Moss's defense, he also has like 40 years or 30 years of experience in that field as well. So his track record is well displayed.
You could say undisputed.
Yeah. Like,
right,
like if there's levels, he's like towards the grandmaster level of what he does.
He has the years of experience, but there is a certain some people haven't. I don't know if it's a personality type or what it is, but have more of a natural ability to teach others, and some people don't.
Are you
talking
about the silky smooth, dulcet tones of his voice, Dano?
No. It's a skill that some people have without necessarily being taught, and some people just don't. And I'm sure he was just as outstanding when he had 5 years worth of experience, just different, because different times.
And Moss is a unique one because he instructed professionally before he started doing it commercially.
Well, and he was also a competitor as well. I mean, some of the video that I've seen of him reloading a wheel gun, dude, is just straight up amazing.
I guess I'm saying he's got experience. I've had a couple of instructors who, for their professional lives, their job was to give presentations. So they had plenty of experience in that realm of it before they ever even addressed the subject that we're talking about. Although their subject, the stuff that they were talking about was also these subjects, but what I mean? They're able to what am I trying to say? Like, their skills at instructing are established because of their occupation or whatever. We got some feedback.
Well, I see what you're saying there.
I got one thing real quick on Moss, and I guess it's a little off topic as far as finding a good instructor, but it's just kind of funny. I just recently posted earlier today on Gun Channels a quick little 15-minute video of Moss explaining stand your ground laws and basically the 3 things needed in a self-defense, in order to make it justified. And I just suggest, if anyone has not seen that video, spend 15 minutes and watch it. It's an awesome summary of the laws general, because it's not specific per state or whatever, but I think every gun owner should watch that video. But sorry, that's a little sidetrack.
No, it's not a sidetrack. I think it's dead on. I mean, anytime we can pass along information, quality information, to our listeners, why not? So, anything else on trainers, how to find a trainer?
Yeah, I think an important part of any training class is the jacket that you wear. Now, you might have a drizzle or a slight
Socks,
breeze.
dude. Socks.
That would be
Socks.
uncomfortable.
Because when you're seeking cover, you need to know if you need a rain jacket, a wind jacket, or just a cold weather jacket.
See, now the listeners are going to start figuring out every time G-Web starts talking about jackets, something's about to happen. Anyway, yes, indeed, it is time for the tactical pop quiz of the day. And Z, have you seen the question and, more importantly, the answer?
Yep.
All righty. And for those of you out there on YouTube and Gun Channels, make sure you got your fingers all limbered up. You got your cursor down in the text box. I will read the question twice. This one was submitted from Dead Horse, so thank you very much, Dead Horse, for submitting this. And the question is as follows. What gun manufacturer / company used the sales slogan, "Nothing left to envy"? What gun manufacturer / company used the sales slogan, "Nothing left to envy"?
Armalite is incorrect. Break like the wind is incorrect. Remington is incorrect.
This company doesn't make anything good, so there's no reason to envy it.
And there you go, Chris. Good answer.
Winner.
Chris just won. Winner, chicken dinner. Followed by Pink Panther on the YouTube, literally a fraction of a second after.
Moments later, but later.
So who was first again?
Chris.
Chris, congratulations.
Let's see. That is Chris. It's Chris Steele, Christelle.
Okay. Congratulations, Chris Steele or Christelle. You are today's Tactical Pop Quiz winner. Head on over to dailygunshow.com/pop quiz. Fill out the form. Put your first, second, and third choice there in case the others have already been taken. And congratulations.
And probably wait a little bit for the picture to be updated.
Excellent. That's very considerate of you. And if you don't know Chris is over on Instagram, and he's always putting up some pretty good photography. So I'd definitely like to say thank you and congratulations to Chris. That makes you the Tactical Pop Quiz hot shot for today. So maybe we'll start to see some of those winning patches and some of those photos you got.
That's right.
But yes, Kunin is the correct answer. I don't know if we said that or not, but yes.
Yeah, I apologize if I didn't get that out there. But I only apologize once. That's it, damn it.
Yep.
All right.
And
with that,
so on to the next section.
What does that make, Chris, though?
Oh, yeah.
Z?
The winner?
He already did it.
Am I stroking out? Did I not hear the hot shot today?
I heard him.
That's okay.
Oh, man. I apologize.
It's all good.
It's not a good day for me.
Well, take a deep breath, man. That's almost the end of the week. Work week, that is.
Have some more NyQuil.
Hey, now.
All All right, so we're going to jump into the gun shop of the day, although there's no pictures of it, I guess. Talking about Border Tactical in El Centro, California. So this is one of the shops I visited on the gun show loophole tour just before I met Smeggy in San Diego. This one is, I think they call it El Centro because it's basically in the middle of California, east and west.
I would hope so.
Exactly. It's just this little town in the middle of the freaking barren desert, worst deserts ever. Just this little town. I guess it's
Is that the desert that almost killed the dog and the van at the same time?
The van didn't almost die, but the dog almost died. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, very hot desert, and it's just like a little agricultural town, I guess, in the middle. And maybe it's just even a rest stop, like it's a little bit bigger than just a place for cars. But anyhow, just a little town, and there's enough of a town that there's a gun shop there. It's like a uniform supply. I think we've done this one before because I remember showing pictures of it. I just don't have the pictures posted right now. But interesting shop, and because it was in California, it was interesting for me because it was for my first experience seeing a California gun shop and experiencing the customers and the way that it's a little bit different, the way that they run the shop or the way that their shops are set up, I guess you could say. And then the questions, of course, were interesting because this was just at the beginning of the Gunmageddon stuff. You know, I think it had
before there was the petitions being signed and stuff.
It was before the petitions. I think it had already passed, and people were getting concerned. So it was interesting because, like I say, that particular shop, it was just right then, and a bunch of the customers happened to be in that day. Were asking questions, so it was interesting to just be the fly on the wall and see the interaction, which, you know, it's just not something I experience normally. So anyway, interesting little shop. It's a uniform supply, so you can get all kinds of like various
windbreakers.
Yeah, windbreakers. But you know, all the stuff that you'd get at a uniform supply place, like holsters. I get my pocket holsters for my revolver from police supply stores. They seem to have them more than the gun shops do. I guess cops wear them as backups more often. They're a good place to get shoes and boots, though, sometimes, especially if you know what you want, and if they got a good price, you can just go try them on, kind of thing. You know, get them right then instead of trying to order online. And then, like I say, I like getting paramedic pants and sometimes uniform pants, depending on, you know, what they look like, because they're usually pretty rugged.
I was gonna say the level of durability on the work pants are usually much better than anything you're gonna go and just buy at the store.
So I can't imagine too many people are listening from that particular town, but I expect anybody who might be driving from Arizona to San Diego or back and forth might consider stopping by. If you've driven past the city before, it's really the only place on that road to stop. Now you know there's a gun shop there. And that's the whole point of this segment of the show, is to just explore different gun shops every day. And we could really use participation from the audience out there, since you guys are going to see a heck of a lot more gun shops than we are. Remember, every time you go into a shop, you've got a camera in your pocket. Every time I've asked, just about every single time I've asked a shop if it's okay to take a couple of pictures and share it with the internet, they say sure. So I encourage you to do that. And if you do, post them on your Facebook or your Instagram or whatever, and send us a link. We'll be happy to help share what's unique and interesting about your gun shops. You can always email them to us at dailygunshow@gmail.com. So what do we want to hit next? How long do we got Dano for?
I don't know.
A couple more minutes. I'm sure he's working today. Oh, he might already be gone.
Yep, he could be missing in action already. So then let's.
I was talking and I realized no one was hearing me because I was muted. But actually, we do have a couple submissions for gun shops. So I definitely want to, just as a thank you for sending your email in sort of segment, I want to thank Hori, Clay, Swibload, and Rick M. Thank you for your emails. Some of them are in the Tactical Pop Quiz, some are in quotes, some are on Gun Shop of the Day. Got several of them in on that, as
Good.
well as it looks like a question up there.
Right on. Thanks. So I'm thinking let's go to the gun movie.
Sounds great.
Every day we like to feature a movie, something gun related. If you're older folk, maybe something you haven't seen in a while, or if you're a youngin', something you ain't seen yet. And today it is Ghost in the Darkness. Has everybody seen this one?
It's when Smeggy went to go build bridges in Africa.
I have not seen it.
Really?
Really?
Val, yeah, I guess you're right on that. Big surprise there, Dano. But yeah, Michael Douglas, Val Kilmer, Africa, based on true story, lions eating people as they're trying to build a railway or a railroad and a bridge in particular.
And why did I go to Africa?
Because you're an engineer, dude.
Oh,
so you would have been.
I'm not a dirty architectural engineer, though.
Well, you would have been the Val Kilmer role when he was young and ruggedly handsome, as opposed to the alcoholic, sodden Michael Douglas.
Now, is that Val Kilmer with a mullet or without a mullet?
He might have a hat on the whole time. It's like old timey, so they all wear their like old fashioned type of styles of clothes.
Oh, okay.
And what? Val Kilmer's Belgian, right? Isn't that part of the deal or something like that?
They're all European or something, I think.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
You have not seen this movie, Smeggy?
I have seen the movie.
Oh, okay.
With the lions like stalking the workers and stuff, and then they got to try and take them out or whatever.
For me, this was one that I don't remember when it came out. I totally missed it too, and then I don't remember. I think I saw it a bunch of times on Netflix or something. I never watched it because I figured it was a chick flick or something. And then I think in one of the chats, y'all said, "No, go watch it," and it was pretty good. So, Dano, yeah, you're lucky again because this is one that I think you'll like when you watch it, if you do.
I could see Dano liking that one. There's not.
I think it was a little bit like movie-ish. Like it would have been. I would have liked it a bit more if they would have been a little bit more like I don't know.
I think they softened it up for the way compared to the way it really happened, dude. Because you can I think you can wiki it or whatever. Like it's a real thing that really happened, and it was more brutal, I think, than because I don't even remember if the movie was R or not. To be honest with you, I swear it was a PG-13 or something like that.
Well, I don't mean that. I mean see more gore or nothing. I'm just saying it was a little bit movie-ish where they like put a love story and like the background crap. I would have just.
Oh yeah, with all that stuff. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I don't know if any of that was real.
Well, I mean that's the part that it's okay, you got to deal with it because it's a big budget movie. But anyway, otherwise that's the only real disadvantage to it. Otherwise, it's pretty cool, and it's what is it? I don't know what years it is. It's back in the colonial days, and they're like you're saying, there's a bunch of
double rifles, dude, that are awesome. Oh my goodness!
And the bad guy's a lion, so I don't know. It's not really a war movie or anything, but definitely some suspense. Not quite like watching a King Kong movie because it's not like unrealistic, but yeah, almost a horror movie really, or make it a thriller to some extent. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it was rated R from 1996.
Okay, good. Yeah, because it needed to be. I remember it is. Yeah.
Tony's got an interesting suggestion on the YouTube side to paste the current segment on the screen when we're doing these chats, so that if someone's not paying 100% attention, then they're not lost with what we're talking about. And that's actually an interesting idea to have like cards for whatever topic we're doing, and maybe throw the thing up there.
I don't know how if we're able to do that through Google, and if so, I know they're ripping a lot of their features out of it. I don't know if that's one of the ones.
Well, I think we could just screen share.
Yeah, it could be as easy.
What the topic is, like just make a bunch of pictures that say Tech Talk or Get of the Day or whatever.
You literally copy and paste the son of a bitch and put it in the dang chat. That's easy.
Yeah, that's
saying.
That's very efficient. That doesn't make any kind of prep work enough.
Well, it gets it done, and it's pretty easy.
I guess that's one way of doing things. All right, so what are we doing with it? We're giving it 1 thumbs up because
what?
Well, they're only there all killing lions after all. So
after the lions kill most of the people, maybe not most, but a good portion.
Did the lion go to London?
In general.
Did the lion go to London and start eating people, or did they
should have went back to London and took out just as many?
Well, all right, but I'm saying
if every movie is 2 thumbs up, then no movie is special.
Exactly.
Whatever.
But I got to give it 1 because it's
as a whole,
not 1 or not 2, because it is basically just about them slaughtering a lion who's minding his business and doesn't want to train in his lands.
Bullshit.
Okay.
I hate it when you do that. That's fucked up.
It's still got
not agree with you 100%.
No, he can disagree with me all he wants. The lion was minding his own business, didn't want a chain in his leg.
He was just eating tasty humans. I mean, what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
No, it was almost like a mythical type of significance to the lion and how it was like their.
Spoilers. Are you sure that's what it was? Because I'm about to say it, but I don't want to spoil it, so never mind.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. We don't want to spoil movies because if you haven't seen it, that's the whole point, is that you enjoy the movie. So check it out. Let us know what you think. And what's Smeggy giving it? We don't even know how many little sticks he's giving it up.
I will also give it 1 zip tie in the ear.
There you go.
All right, looks like we've got a link to a place called History Buffs. Did a special of the movie. What is that? Is that like a place that just reviews movies? Wow, 300,000.
They compare the movie to the actual historical facts of it.
Years of Chinese music.
Oops. Interesting. I never knew that was a channel. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
We got to flag it. It's not even the end of the show yet.
We can't get flagged for that. It's a commercial. They can't flag it for playing a commercial, can they?
Depends if it's a copyrighted commercial.
Well, that's the movie. So again, check it out if you haven't, and let us know what you thought of it if you did, or if you do. And if you ever have a suggestion for a movie, it looks like we're good for a bit, but we can always use new suggestions. And some of these are recycled, so we can always. In fact, this one got kicked down. I remember I pushed this one down a while back for some other movie that was more topical or something a week or two ago.
Like so today should have been either Flags of Our Fathers or Letters from Iwo Jima. Today could have been the movie of the day.
What the hell are we thinking? Exactly. I don't know what we were thinking. We should have had Sands of Iwo Jima. So let's just scratch that movie and give it Sands of Iwo Jima. Special double edition on Gun Movie, unless anybody has an objection. Ooh. So Sands of Iwo Jima, John Wayne.
Gun history as of today at the same time?
Well, yeah, that's the whole point. So today is the anniversary of the raising of the flag on Iwo Jima. And, well, I can remember I just watched Sands at Iwo Jima the other day. But what was the other one?
Well, Flags of Our Fathers and Letters from Iwo Jima. They were both by Clint, I think. And one was from the Japanese perspective, and one was from the Americans' perspective.
Both on Iwo Jima, though?
Oh, yes.
Okay, I don't remember Flags of Our Fathers if it was on Iwo Jima. So I have to watch those again. I haven't seen them in a while. The Flags that you would, or the Letters, what was the Letters one called? Letters from Iwo Jima?
I think that was right. Letters from Iwo Jima, I think is what that one was.
And that's all subtitles, right?
I think so, because it literally is from the Japanese point of view, and like you can see when the Americans are landing and stuff like that, and they're in all the cave system and all that kind of stuff. I'd have to say that one gave me a much better understanding of how they were hunkered into the caves and the hills, and the level of difficulty that the landing force had to deal with. It was just it was an interesting perspective, and it took literally 60 years or longer or whatever it was before that story could technically even be told due to the gravity of the situation and whatnot. But yeah, pretty big deal raising the flag. I hadn't seen Sands of Iwo Jima in quite some time.
No,
John Wayne.
It's just about the flag, right? Like the people that actually lifted the flag up, and it kind of follows them.
I think so. And the deal is that's the second raising of the flag. There was a different set of dudes that raised it first. But like out of the second one, like Johnny Cash sings a song about Ira Hayes. So I mean, he's like one of those guys that's didn't want to be a war hero, so to speak, but through no point of his own or whatever, was truly one.
Was it the first one was like impromptu and it fell over or got bombed down?
Had a smaller flag,
or
and they wanted to have a larger flag.
So the first one, because I thought I remember watching one of the movies, and I thought that they got up there and they put a flag up, and then it got knocked down, and then they went up there a second time and put up the big one. But,
well, the level of death and destruction that it took to get to the top of Mount Suribachi, and the cost of human life and everything like that, they wanted it to be much easier to see. So that's why I don't remember if it was one of the commanders, the field commander, the admiral off the boat. I don't remember who it was. Wanted what is it? Do you remember the sizes of flags, G? Like, is one a division size flag, one's a this size flag, one's a that size flag? So like whatever the one size was too small, air quotes, and then they put up the division flag or something like that. It was like literally 4 times the size or 3 times the size or something.
I remember that part of it, but I don't know what the names of those flags are. I'm sure it had more to do with you're not going to carry around a massive sheet with you for actually fighting, where you might carry around a towel.
Right. So maybe the one was actually a battle-sized flag, and then they had one brought forward or something.
Yeah. I remember there was something, and it's also, it's a little flag. So yeah, if you're put on top of a freaking hill or a mountain, I guess you want to have a giant flag up there just even next.
Well, they said also that they could hear the hooting and hollering from guys all the way down the hill. They said that the klaxons or whatever were sounding off the boats, and also other sirens and stuff like that, because they could see through their binoculars and all that kind of stuff that had transpired, and it was a pretty rejoiceful moment.
Yeah, because that looked directly down upon the airfield. That's why it was such a strategic and critical point.
Well, and the death toll for Iwo Jima was pretty bad. It was like one of those ones where it's like Guadalcanal, where there was a lot of life taken.
Absolutely.
All right, so that was today in 1945.
Yeah.
So that's our history segment. So that'll take us to our gun of the day, and this is the other interesting facet about today. Today is February 23rd, and since February is the second month of the year, it denoted 2/23/2017, which means today is 2/23, which means it's 2/23 day, and that's our bullet of the day.
Which by default makes it AR day.
There's bolt guns that shoot 223. There's even a pistol that shoots 223.
Technically, the 223 was developed as a gopher gun, or a gopher cartridge.
Gopher round.
You've been hanging around too many Canadians.
No, that's just real life. You can choose to ignore it all you want, but then they developed that into the M16. But it didn't exist as a battle bullet. It existed as a
hunting round, a 222, right? Wasn't that what it was originally? And then they expanded.
Yep. So anyhow, like it or love it, today is 2/23, and today we're talking about.
I like that. Like it or love it. I like that. Gee, thanks.
Or in G's case, hate it.
He does not hate the 223.
Yeah, I got paid to shoot it. I don't mind. It's okay. I just don't like it as much as a 30 cal. But anyhow, today it's 2/23 day, so we're not talking shit about it. We do a gun of the day every day. This week we're doing bullets of the day, and this is a video I did a while back in that little series I was trying to do every single day. And I have enough bullets to continue doing that. It's just I got no interest at all in that. But anyway, this is a series.
That green one looks cool.
Yeah, these are polymer cases. So there's still a brass, whatever you call the rim, so that it can be ejected and everything. But the majority of the case is polymer. And if I remember right, these can be reloaded. And they made them in a bunch of different colors. So throughout the years going to SHOT Show, when I see them in different colors, I grab them. So
gee, what's that one with the silver tip that looks like it does not belong in that string? I don't know that you pointed at it yet, but it's towards the middle of the string.
I don't know. Not this one here?
No, it has a silver top that goes above, and it doesn't look like a regular projectile.
Well, I'll take a look at that here in a second. I just got it. It's freeze framed, so I'll just show you this cream color, the green, the gray, the white, and the black. And I think they make them in other colors. I think I saw a blue one time, but I haven't grabbed one. So anyway, that's the particular one we're looking at today. But you're talking about, I don't really know if I show it.
When you put it straight down or whatever, you can see it in the strand.
Huh.
Big mitts in the way. There you go. All right, you see it? Yep, that one right there. That's the one.
The UTM round. So after the thing is ejected, that's what it looks like before with its little projectile thingy. And then a primer goes off and hits a second primer, and then it shoots and ejects itself out of the gun, and that little pink marker goes flying out. So that's what it looks like after it's been shot and after it's been ejected from the gun.
No shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
And that's my belt of 223s. I don't really show it good in this video, and it's a little bit bigger. No, it's actually probably my new one. Actually, no, I did get a couple of new ones since then. But anyway, I figured I'd start keeping my military calibers in belts, because why not, right? Links don't cost nothing. Yeah. And then that way you can see pretty much all of it and the head stamps and everything, and you can get a nice comparative. The only real problem is that they're in that order, kind of. It's not.
Where does one acquire the green ammo?
These polymer cartridges.
Right.
I don't even know if they're for sale. I just get them out of their whenever they show them at SHOT Show. Grab one.
Because it looks pretty cool, dude.
Yeah, those polymer ones, just in general, are they made outside the U.S. in the U.S.?
They're from the U.S., I think. I mean,
it just amazes me that polymer can withstand the pressures that those do, as well as the heat,
and be reloadable. I'm pretty sure they can reload them at least once.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
The dimensions of the polymer.
Well, this is the
because isn't that what polyformance is from Wolf? That's polymer, or is that just polymer coated?
No,
I think it's just polymer coated.
Is the only stuff I'm aware of that's actual polymer cases. But the Undetectable Firearms Act prevents research and innovation in. So this company said, forget it, I'm going to go ahead and do it. But imagine, and why would we stop? If we can use polymer instead of brass, why can't we use polymer instead of copper and something else instead of lead? Anyway, I think that's neat in a lot of ways, and I have no idea if you can purchase it. Maybe somebody in the chat can let us know.
I think Clay just did. He linked PCP. Nice name though. PCP ammunition, and he linked, and it looks like it is polymer cased ammunition.
Yep, there you go. So they actually make it multicolor looking now, or yeah. So
thanks, Clay.
They say it's the future of small arms ammunition.
Oh, well, it could be. And then, let's see, Vroomtastic's on the other side, and he says Poly Case makes rounds with polymer cases and projectiles. They were developed to be non-reloadable. But that's the Poly Case ones. Is that the one that has the screwdriver bit for projectile G? Or is that... I'm trying to remember.
I think so, but I don't know for sure.
So, but anyway, we were talking about the 223 today.
Yeah, we're really talking about 223. That just happened to be the one we were going to put in yesterday, but because 223 is today, we did it today. And of course, we're talking about the caliber itself, which is the for both guns and for the AR and for contenders. I think one of the first times I shot 223, well, is in an AR 180, but then in a contender. And they're kind of it's not a bad round for that single barrel.
Man, that might be a hoot, dude.
Yeah, it's not a bad round. I would do that. Of course, AR pistols, right? And then that little Heiser double shot thingy that takes 2 5.56s, or is it just one? But anyway, a little 5.56 pistol.
Oh, man, and that one I was thinking about, I'm like, that, I mean, I know it's a gopher round and everything like that, but I got a feeling that's going to get a little stingy.
Yeah, that'd be fun to shoot in a daring dry bet, though.
No gloves, super cold day.
But it'd be neat to shoot that at steel at different distances so you can kind of hear how much energy it's got.
I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with
I can't imagine how much energy you get out of a barrel that's short, though.
It's almost not even a barrel. Yeah, it's almost just like letting it launch out of its own case. It's
right.
I mean, it can't build up speed or any kind of pressure. So that's why I'm wondering, it'd be neat to shoot it at just some steel. Hear the ring at different distances.
Well, if you remember those ones, they're not the same as the double taps. The one that's the AR and the one that's the AK, they actually do have like a 1 or a 2 inch barrel. So there's actually a little bit of something there.
That's true. They are a little bit longer, but they're still basically.
Oh, but nothing by way of comparison. Yes, I agree with you 100% on that.
All right, so that's our bullet of the day / gun of the day and our interesting little thing about today. So go pat your little 223 on the head. It probably needs the attention, or will appreciate the attention at least. And give it something nice. Take it out and feed it something today. Or if you can't do it today, got the weekend coming up, plan on taking it out for the weekend for its kind of birthday celebration.
Nice.
Kind of birthday. I don't know what you call it. Not really a birthday. We should find out when the 223 was invented. Wonder if that's possible to do while we're sitting here.
Sure. While we're sitting here, why don't I go ahead and do gun channels today? Today being Thursday. We have Gun News Weekly. We're going to have a AK-47 guru tonight.
Always, it's Thursday, so that means it's happening. Right. Even ask, it's that sure of a thing.
And I don't believe Yankee's on tonight. I believe he's on next week.
Well, no, that'd be incorrect because he is definitely on tonight.
Oh, and is he ready for action? Oh, my goodness. He was talking about his show last night in Matt's chat about how the show's going to be crazy tonight.
Okay, I thought he was talking next week. My bad. Anyway, then tomorrow morning, of course, we got Jimmy James doing the early watch 5 days a week for hours and hours and hours. Doing a great job with Tony and the gang, because sometimes he has a couple of guest hosts along with him. And that is Gun Channels today.
I think we also got
weekly on tonight.
Yeah, we got weekly gun news as well.
I said that was the first one I mentioned. Gun News Weekly.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, excellent.
Smeggy just only listens selectively.
I guess so. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop adding stuff when I figure you guys don't say things, because more often than not, I didn't hear things, not that you didn't say things.
Better to hit it twice, honestly, than to miss stuff.
Yes, I had Gun News Weekly, Yankee AK-47 Guru, and then the early watch tomorrow. And that is Gun Channels today. We still got the healthy tip.
We do. So we try to remind everybody that the most important part of the gun is the part that pulls the trigger. And with that in mind, we have a healthy tip every day. Today's is get a fitness friend. So having somebody that you can, schedule a time to do something active with makes it easier, because you both, encourage each other to do it, and it makes the time go by. For me, I have a couple friends where we'll either get together and walk or go play basketball or something, basically throw a ball at a hoop for a while, but it gives us a chance to bullshit. And since we used to work together and we don't anymore, it's a double excuse. We get a little bit of exercise in, and we get to catch up. So highly encourage it. It gets your ass out there. And here's the other added benefit. You can use that as an excuse to get one of your lazy ass friends out and do something. Because again, we're doing this we have this feature of the show because we could talk all day and night about how awesome our little gun is and how much accessories we bought for it that make it so awesome. But if you can't get that gun where it needs to be when it needs to be there, then you're wasting your time, everybody's time, right? So part of that in real life, if we ever get to a point where we have to get our guns to someplace, you ain't doing that by yourself. You're doing that with your friends and whatnot. So having this contact with people that you get together recreationally or to exercise or whatever, you're serving multiple benefits there, because you're also networking with people who are like-minded that can you're practicing mobilization basically. So you're getting yourselves ready to work together and to meet up and just be a team. So there's multiple advantages to this, and like I say, as much as it can help you get yourself out, to consider motivating friends of yours to get them out there and doing something. It's incredible how easy it is. Just eat healthy and do something every once in a while, and we're pretty strong machines. We bounce right back to being pretty healthy. It's pretty neat. So we try to bug everybody every single day. Sometimes we get a little bit of gruff from it, but for the most part, people don't seem to mind. If you have some suggestions, though, I have been recycling these, and I don't know if people notice that or not, but if you've got ideas, something that we haven't touched on yet, or something that you have maybe area of expertise on, feel free to, again, email us at dailygunshow@gmail.com. In fact, if you'd like to come on and do one of the healthy tips or do the healthy tips for a couple of times, if you've got some stuff to share, let's make that an offer. So this sometimes gets overlooked and sometimes we focus on it a little bit longer, but I guess today I'm offering it for if everybody else wants to participate in this part of the show as well. Feel free.
We also have the events portion of the show, since it's Thursday.
Oh, you mean our third topic of the day? Where are we at with time? Is Dano still around, I guess? So
we got 12 minutes at least for Dano.
Yep.
Okay, so on Thursdays we like to talk about the calendar of events in the shooting community, and one of the ways that we track that is on Gun Channels. So Gun Channels is a community focused on firearms, and anybody can join. It's completely free to check it out. It's also free to sign up as a member. Once you've signed up as a member, you have the ability to go up to the top where it says resources on the top of every single page. And one of the items in that list is calendar. You can head over to calendar and post an event. And that's the event list or the calendar that we're looking at today. So, and we look at this every Thursday. So by posting something there, you're not only helping that event out, but you're going to make sure you get coverage on the Daily Show. And some other shows might look at this list too. We're going to talk today about Massad Ayub's Armed Citizens Rules of Engagement. We were talking earlier about good instructor. He's a good instructor. He'll be in Tucson on March 4th. I don't know if their seats open or not, but since my friend Dan is hosting,
that'd be a great class, dude.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's right by the airport, so you could basically fly into Tucson, stay at the hotel where the class is, hang out with Moss and Dan. Dan's a whole cool character in his own, and then fly right back out. Have a good time. But Moss goes all around. I think Dano has experienced Moss.
Oh yeah. Great class. They are 10-hour classes. They are working lunches.
You went to Wisconsin for that, right?
Yes. Yes,
So,
right off Lake Michigan.
I think Pink, I don't know if Pink traveled or not when he went to the class, and I'm not sure anymore where DB went.
DB was in Georgia.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
But he's an old guy, and he's already threatened to stop traveling. So anyway, this is a particular class. So if you've got an opportunity and you've got that urge, then look at it. I guess what I'm saying is go look at the Massad Ayub group is the name of his website. Go check out where his scheduled engagements are. Although they sometimes sell out pretty quick. People's lives, things happen, things change, and even though a class is full, it's worth double checking and finding out if there's a tentative. Somebody might be backing out and you can be on a list, or somebody already did and you definitely can have a seat. It's worth calling in and finding out about that. Moving on though, in March 24th, we got the big Sandy machine gun shoot here in Arizona. It's awesome. We've talked about it before. So if you're interested in watching a bunch of individuals just shoot their guns in sort of a club environment or a get-together environment, very loosely structured, but safe and super fun. That's something worth checking out. There's plenty of videos and descriptions of it out there. You got the St. Louis International Cartridge Show coming up in St. Louis, I guess, in March, which reminds me, there's also one in Prescott this weekend. So if you're anywhere near Phoenix or Vegas or Prescott or Flagstaff, I guess, then and you like ammo, you might consider heading over to Prescott. There's at the rodeo grounds, there's the International Arms Association, a collectors group of ammunition collectors, is having a show up there. And I guess there's also one in St. Louis in March. Then we've got the world's largest gun show in Tulsa coming up in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's on April 1st. And around that time, people from gun channels will be showing up. Usually, well, the last time, I guess a couple of times we've met up there. The last time was the most organized. Hopefully we'll be a little bit more organized this time around. And the guys will probably have another shoot and a tour of the museum, and then go to the show. Hopefully you guys we can still schedule to get you guys a table there so that you have a place the gun channels people have a table there where we can put out some gun channels propaganda and answer questions for people. But I'll mainly just have it a place where we have our own designated place to sit down and stow our stuff, or your guys' stuff. I don't think I'll be there, but that should be interesting, and that'll be the second annual Tulsa Gun Channels meetup. Then we've got weekend after that, in April 7th in Kentucky is the Knob Creek machine gun shoot. That's your more formal machine gun shoot, a little easier to get to. And from what I understand, it's like bleachers kind of thing. It's a
suit and tie, formal, or like ladies wear dress?
More set up for spectators and easy, like parking lot and like a road driving up to it, not a dirt road with sand and like, you know, you're biting your nails if you can even get to it. This is more like just drive up and pull off at the sign and park in the parking lot and sit on bleachers or something and enjoy the show. And it's easier to get to because it's in the middle of Kentucky, so it's kind of right in the middle of the country for everybody. Or I guess it's in Western Kentucky. Then we got in the end of April, the NRA meeting in Atlanta. Again, a bunch of gun channels people. Hopefully we'll meet up there. But more importantly, I guess, a whole bunch of NRA people will show up there. So anyone who's a member of the NRA is welcome to attend that annual meeting and exhibit, which is basically like the trade show. It's really all the stuff that's at SHOT Show, minus the boring stuff. So all the cool stuff, all the products from SHOT Show, literally the same booths, same people, most part, except instead of doing business with each other, they're there to talk to their customers. So they're there to answer questions and let you fiddle with the gear and to take pictures of it. Or if you're creating YouTube content or Facebook pictures, or you're doing something online like that, you can, I would definitely encourage you to check out the NRA show. You could basically, or literally get a year's worth of content with your phone, just walking around the NRA show. That'll be in Atlanta and in April 27th. Then in Atlanta also, but later, June 2nd, will be the Blade Show, which is a big, I guess it's more of like a fair, I would call it, right? It's a get together, but you can buy stuff. So it's not so much just a trade show where you're looking at stuff, but it's a blade gun show. So it's a gun show that's all focused on blades, and it attracts all the big blade companies, all the big manufacturers and custom shops, and they all get together and have a big blade-oriented good time. So that's also in Atlanta. That's all we have on the list here, at least in the main page there. I'm sure there's more in the calendar. And again, we encourage anybody who has either an event that they attend or that they're affiliated with or they participate in somehow, post it, and we'll continue to let people know about it.
Well, that's like last week I posted up even just a local gun show, and come to find out, Squib was going to that as well, so I was able to meet him in person.
Yep.
Oh, we have proof of Squib then?
Yeah, we do. And another feather in my cap of gun channels people I've met.
Did you go because you truly care about Squib, or is it just another gun channels member in your cap?
What me and Squib had was special. I'll just say that.
All right. Okay. I was getting really in too much like one of those evening chats. So we'll
but moving along.
All right. So that was the healthy tip. And
any other miscellaneous items you guys want to bring up?
I think we did it all. Right on time too. So we like to keep it about an hour or 90 minutes. That looks like we wrapped up episode 254. Hopefully everyone's enjoying the show. We had a little bit less turnout today, and we never know how to interpret that. We would hope that people would join in and participate in the show live, especially that we moved it to the new time slot. So give us some feedback on that. If this was a poor choice and isn't working out for our audience, we can always look at other avenues or another option. I guess the other thing I could do is encourage people to share the show with your friends. At some point, we're not doing this for the money. We're doing this for our interest. And I don't think any of us really care to hear ourselves talk necessarily. We're trying to do this as a effort to get information across and to provide something new out there. And if that isn't successful at some point, we have to acknowledge that. So let's not deal with that, right? Let's continue to see the show grow. And we'll ask for everybody's participation in that. If you have ideas on how we might get the show out there, things that we're doing wrong that you think might be discouraging people from listening, it's a two-way street. So give us some feedback either on the email or in the comments, or come to any of us independently or directly if that's more comfortable for you. But I guess until tomorrow, we will wish you a good evening. I guess I encourage you to listen to the other shows on Gun Channels, and I'll be doing the AK podcast here in a bit as soon as I'm done with the Yankees.
All right. Unless there's anything else, we always like to end the show with a quote. Today I have one from Larry Elder. A woman who demands further gun control legislation is like a chicken who roots for Colonel Sanders. And on that note, I want to thank you for listening, and please be prepared.
The guys and gals of GunWebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching GunWebsites.com.